Following the Pacers' Game 6 win over the Knicks, the NBA Finals are officially set. In one of the more surprising championship matchups we've seen, we have the Indiana Pacers taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder. Two small market teams that are seeking their first NBA title. Two teams that love to push the pace and are arriving ahead of schedule. And two teams that are led by an elite, flashy All-NBA guard. In fact, this will be the first time two All-NBA guards will face off in the finals since Stephen Curry and Kyrie Irving nearly a decade ago. Interestingly enough, both of these teams acquired their superstar player through trades that involved Paul George. For Indiana, they traded PG for Domantas Sabonis and then flipped him to the Kings for Tyrese Haliburton, while OKC traded George to the Clippers for SGA. One of the key storylines for the series is how Indiana's fast-paced offense will fare against OKC's tenacious defense. The Pacers ranked second among playoff teams in terms of offensive rating, just behind the Cleveland Cavaliers. On the flip side, the Thunder have had far and away the best defense, allowing 3.4 fewer points than any other team per 100 possessions. Regardless of the outcome, we are in for something special. On one hand, we would witness one of the greatest underdog stories of all time. On the other, we would potentially see the birth of the next great dynasty in the NBA. But the question is, who will it be? Who will be hanging their first banner, and who will be stuck reliving finals heartbreak? Let's break it all down. Clinching their second ever finals appearance and first since 2000 are the Indiana Pacers, a team that no one outside of Indiana had making it to this stage. But make no mistake, they are here for a reason. The Pacers' efficiency has been off the charts this postseason, as they are shooting over 50% from the field and 40% from 3. The last time we saw this level of efficiency was all the way back in 2014 with the San Antonio Spurs. 25 points, 5 rebounds, and 3.5 assists on over 50% shooting from the field. Those are the numbers Pascal Siakam averaged in 6 games against the Knicks. He was arguably the best player on the court this series, outplaying Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns. A performance that saw him earn Eastern Conference MVP. Siakam always seems to elevate his game as the stage gets bigger. Back in 2019, he was the second best player on the Toronto Raptors championship squad. He's been on this floor before, and his experience will only benefit the Pacers. And then there's Tyrese Haliburton. What hasn't been said about him? The young guard went from being voted as the NBA's most overrated player to being thrown in discussions for a top 10 player in the league. His response to criticism these playoffs have seen him redefine the narrative behind his name. I recently made a video going more in depth on his postseason heroics, which you should definitely check out if you haven't already. While his never-before-seen stat lines and historic efficiency have been impressive, it would mean nothing without his clutch play. He has come up big every time his team has needed him to, and without it, there's a real chance the Pacers are sitting at home right now. But the X factor for this team will be Miles Turner. The 6'11 center is more than capable of shooting the 3, as he is averaging over 40% from long range these playoffs. If he can consistently knock down the 3 ball, OKC will be forced to guard the perimeter. This will draw defenders like Hartenstein and Chet out of the paint, opening up more room for the Pacers guards to attack and operate. Now let's talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder. The number 1 seed out of the West has been absolutely dominant en route to their first finals since 2012. In each of their playoff series so far, they've recorded at least one win of 30 or more points. If this doesn't scare the Pacers, then this next stat will. Throughout the regular season, OKC won a combined 29-1 against Eastern Conference teams, the best interconference record in league history. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is currently having one of the more impressive postseason runs we've ever seen. In just 17 games, he has already amassed 10 games of 30 or more points with 5 or more assists. The only 2 players to have more in a single playoff run are Michael Jordan and LeBron James. With 2 more of these performances, Shai would surpass them both for most since 1963. Then there's the other 2 figures in OKC's Big 3, with Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren. For Williams, he is easily one of the league's better two-way players. Offensively, he's been a superb second scoring choice and is great at limiting turnovers. On the defensive side, his size and length allow him to guard across multiple positions, a strength that saw him earn second All-NBA defensive team. J-Dub is catching heat at the right time too, and we saw it in Game 4 of the conference finals. In what became the most important game of the series, he dropped a playoff career-high 34 points to help give the Thunder a 3-1 lead. Chet also came up big in this one too, with a clutch block that ultimately sealed the game. His inside presence and ability to shut down driving lanes have caused problems for slashers all postseason. Now that we've looked at both teams, let's see what a title would mean for each franchise. Indiana is entering as a massive underdog, sitting at plus 500 odds. However, if they were to pull off the upset, it would mark arguably the most impressive finals run in league history. A postseason that would consist of taking down the Giannis-led Bucks, a 64-win Cavs team, the Brunson and Cat New York Knicks, and an all-time Thunder squad. Preseason odds saw the Pacers at a plus 5,000 to win the finals. This would far and away be the lowest of any champion since the data began being tracked back in 1985. Their claim of the title would also leave the Brooklyn Nets as the only former ABA team without an NBA ring. In terms of a legacy standpoint, Tyrese Haliburton's resume would gain a massive boost. As previously mentioned, he's putting together a postseason for the ages. Capping off this run by bringing Indiana their first ever championship would likely put him as the second greatest Pacer ever. only behind Reggie Miller. While he would achieve something Miller was never able to do, Reggie's longevity would still give him the edge in my eyes. He spent all 18 years of his career with the team and is their all-time leader in points, assists, three-pointers, and games played. He led them to their first finals ever and even pushed the Kobe and Shaq Lakers to 6 games, a duo that to this day is still regarded as the greatest of all time. However, with that being said, Tyrese would be on a trajectory to surpass him for the spot one day. Add in a few more elite seasons with a couple of all-star appearances, and we could see Reggie being dethroned sooner than later. For head coach Rick Carlisle, this championship would add to an already luxurious career. He is 10th all-time in terms of total playoff wins and has already amassed awards such as Coach of the Year and is an NBA champion. As head coach of the Dallas Mavericks, he led the team to their only title in one of the most impressive runs in NBA history, taking down legendary head coaches Phil Jackson and Eric Spoelstra in the process. If there's any head coach you want as an underdog, it's this guy. He's shown he can do the impossible before. Who's to say he can't do it again? Pulling off this title would give him arguably the 2 most impressive finals runs ever, an accomplishment that would likely propel him into the top 10 greatest coaches of all time. If the Thunder come out on top, they will catapult into some all-time conversations, which is scary considering how young they are. The average age of the roster is barely 25.5 years old, which would make them the second youngest team to win it all in the last 70 years. This feat would also give OKC 84 wins in the year, a total that would tie them for the 3rd most ever, just behind the 96 Bulls and 2016 Warriors. In the regular season, the Thunder broke the record for point differential and most wins by double digits. In the playoffs, they've kept the same ante, especially on the defensive side. OKC has forced more turnovers in one postseason than any other team ever, which has seen them hold a plus 100 turnover margin. If this number holds, they will also set the record for best turnover differential in a single playoff. Given these numbers, there's a real chance we will be talking about this Thunder team as one of the best to ever do it. With SGA likely taking home Finals MVP, he would cap off one of the greatest seasons of all time. He would join Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Jordan, and Shaquille O'Neal as the only players to win MVP, Finals MVP, and the scoring title in the same year. Not only would he be making a push for face of the league, but for the greatest player in OKC's history. While Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook each won MVPs with the organization, none of them were ever able to bring home the chip. With everything being said, I think OKC takes this series in 5. Their talent level, depth, and defensive paralysis will be too much for Indiana to overcome. As deep as the Pacers roster is, the Thunder's is even deeper. They have SGA, Jalen Williams, Lou Dort, Isaiah Hartenstein, and Chet Holmgren to round out their starting 5. Then add in their second and third rotations of players like Isaiah Joe, Alex Caruso, and Carson Wallace, and you have arguably the best roster in the entire league. This depth and versatility of lineups will wear down the Pacers in a 7-game series. Add in the fact that they are coming off a few extra days of rest, and the Thunder are in even better position for success. Another key factor in the series is that the Thunder are nearly unbeatable at Paycom Center. They've only lost 3 home games this entire year and hold home court advantage throughout the finals. While it is true that Indiana's fast-paced offense could give OKC trouble, the Thunder are just a flat-out better team. But those are just my thoughts. Who are you picking to win the series and in how many games? Let me know what you guys are thinking down in the comments below. I look forward to hearing what you have to say. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends. Thanks for watching as always, and until next time, peace.